So, I think the truck is finished. After a little finagling here at the end and putting some parts on that fell off. So, this is the entry for the group model build from Jason at Blue Ox Models. This is a street machine build. And this is a Revell 77 Chevy pickup truck, and I did modify it. If you've seen the previous videos, if you didn't, then just to go over it, the wheels are off a die cast I used to have a long time ago. I stripped it for parts and then put the wheels in my parts box, and they've been sitting in there ever since, but they seem to fit this truck really well. And so those worked out good. The engine is 3D printed. I got that off eBay. That's a Chevy big block. The bucket seats I got off eBay. Those are, I think, originally for a Bugatti, but they're just high back bucket seats, more or less. In the interior of this truck came with a bench seat, but it was molded in, so I had to take my Dremel tool, take all that out, and kind of rebuild the sides and back of the interior tub, and then put those seats inside. So I made the tonneau cover for the back. This truck didn't have a back bumper. It does have a custom bumper for the front, which I used, which is kind of odd because it has louvers in it. It came with zoomies, so I used those. I need to touch up the paint there, I see. The back bumper, I made that, like I say, because it didn't come with one. I missed the marker light there. So I do have a couple extra things to do there. I thought I was done. But this is the entry, it's all done. I saw online that some other people were posting their vehicles, even though you don't have to have it done until sometime in December, probably December 31st. But since I finished it already, I saw that others were showing their models when they finished them, so I thought I would go ahead and do that, and I can show it again, I guess, at the end of the year in a couple of months. But for right now, I mean, it's pretty much done. So what else can I say? Oh, let me do this. Let's see. Of course, I had to cut a hole in the hood to get the make room for the blower part, that's the intake that's coming out the top. But that's what it looks like. Not a lot of detail on this kit. It's very unusual. Like it comes with a radiator, but it didn't mention it in the instructions whatsoever. You can't build it stock. You can only make it like a street machine. The chassis itself, I believe, is like a box chassis. It's not even a stock Chevy chassis. So the closest thing that really resembles a Chevy truck is maybe the body, and that's about it. So very little detail on the inside of the hood. All the jack, the battery, all that stuff is molded in. They're not separate parts that you can put in there. So but I mean, it's not a bad kit. You just have to know that ahead of time when you start it, that you're just not going to really, there's no reason to modify it and build it stock anyway, because you can buy stock Chevy truck kits already. So that would be just a waste of time and money to convert it. But yeah, I had fun with it. I built one of these in the 90s. I'm sure it was nothing as nice as this, I'm sure. When I say the 90s, I'm talking about before 93, so it could have been late 80s, early 90s. But I mean, it's still a good kit in the sense that in this case, it was fun to build because I made modifications to it. and I could build a little more or less a truck that I liked, that I wanted to build, and make my own changes and do things my own way. So I did have fun doing that. And so, building a model sometimes is problem solving is part of the of building a model. Nobody, like, you can go get a snap kit, snap it together, and be done in 10 minutes. But that's what most modelers are not going to do that. They want a little bit of a challenge. I mean, they don't want a kit that's so bad it's just impossible to put together. And there's kits like that are just, really, really trouble from day one. But we do like our little challenges, especially when we update it. Like, we change the engine, we change the wheels, and trying to figure out how to get those new parts into the project is part of the thinking process that we go through. And I think that's what makes modeling interesting to most modelers, is there's always not so much the final product. I mean, that's the icing on the cake, but the journey of trying to figure out those little problems all along the way, and then you overcome those problems, and you basically did it. You found a way to solve the problem. It came out the way you wanted, and you get a pat on the back, more or less. You pat yourself on the back and you move on. You go to the next one. But I think that's why modeling is so appealing to a certain segment of the population, is because we're problem solvers at heart, and we like being able to figure out how to make things, change things, make them better. There are people that build a model kit right out of the box, but they're choosing a paint. What kind of paint? Is it going to be, acrylic? Is it going to be lacquer? Is it going to be metallic? Is it going to be a solid color? Are they going to do stripes? Even if you just build a slammer, I've seen a lot of fancy paint jobs on a slammer. It doesn't have no interior and no engine. So if that's your thing, you're still working out, and it's a lot of work, and you mask it off, and you paint paint patterns on there, and you might use 3 or 4 different colors on that car, but it's a process of figuring out how to do it. What's the first layer of paint you want to do? How are you going to design it? Is it going to be stripes or graphics or whatever? Every aspect of modeling, whatever kind of modeling you're doing, is still going to have some little bit of problem solving. Even trying to figure out the direction sometimes can be that way. And these directions weren't bad. I mean, they were very, very usual, very basic, nothing special to write home about, nothing extraordinary. They weren't great, but they weren't real bad. Like I say, the directions don't even mention that the model comes with a radiator. I mean, I put the radiator in there because I know where it goes, but I'm not sure why it didn't mention it. But if you're a car builder, you know where the radiator goes. So, but it was a lot of fun. I'm glad I jumped on this street machine group build. What's great about it is a street machine leaves it kind of open, so you're not tied to one really specific kit or specific kind of kit. I don't mind a group build if it's a specific kit, like we were just building these on Skylines. I'd be in on that, or we're just building a Toyota, or we're just building a 55 Chevy, or 55, 6, and 7 Chevy, and that, the narrow ones I like too. So, but this one was really open. It could be any kind of car, truck model you wanted, pretty much. And the kit you bought and you built for this group build might not be a street machine in the box or on the box art, but by adding different parts, you create a street machine out of the model car or truck that you have, and that's a process. And that's why I think when this is all over, we're going to see a wide variety of vehicles. We're going to see, this is almost a cheat, because the box on this truck, it said street machine right on the box cover. But the reason I chose this truck is because I already owned it. So I thought I didn't buy it specifically for the group build. So since I already owned it, and it was I paid less than $20 for the kit when I got it new. So I thought, well, I'll give this a shot. So that's the only reason I picked this specific truck, or model, I should say, because it could have just as easily been a car. I do have a few cars that were cheap and could be modified into a street machine very easily. So, all right, well, that's it. I hope you enjoyed it. I will show the underside. The underside, again, it's very basic. I think this gas tank in the directions is supposed to be located further that way. But because this model has a quick change rear end option cover, if you put that on, you have to put the gas tank further back. And I notched the gas tank to go over that frame brace. So just so you know, if you're trying to do that at home. And in order to get this 3D engine in there, I did have to cut down the drive shaft. And then I modified these zoomies with some plastic tubing so that they would fit where I wanted them to fit. I wanted them to come out in front of the wheels, but the way they were before I modified them, they were on top of the leaf spring, and that's just not going to work. That's silly. So I fixed that. But other than that, everything else is just the way it came. It's just a simple box frame, really. But so now you've seen it top to bottom. I want to thank Jason for suggesting it. I know it's not the first year for the Street Machine group build, but it was a lot of fun, and I look forward to next year, actually, even though that's almost a year away. And I look forward to the end of December to see what else everybody else has come up with. Mine's not really fancy. I don't have like working lights or LEDs or moving parts or anything abnormal, not abnormal, but unusual. But I enjoyed it. That's the important thing, and I had a good time. So all right, we'll see you on the next one. Later.